and the family's well known in San Pedro. And they kind of looked at, we don't look like terrorists because it was a terrorist act, meaning that I would not be able to fly to Mexico, anywhere on a plane. I was on that list. It takes almost a year to get off that list, I think.
It's a terrible list to be on.
So anyway, now what happens, my wife calls me. Of course, I rush home to help her. And I said, enough is enough. Now, Joe came in this office, and we were having a meeting, and we're just in there, recording what we're talking about, some stuff. Joe came in and said that he was just told by Exelon and First Solar that they were turning us over to the Homeland Security and FBI because that's a federal site. No one listened, I mean, we didn't listen to Joe. We should have, can you turn that radio? Oh, hear that. Anyway, if we would have listened to Joe when he first came in here and warned us, we could have responded with a letter. But I thought for sure that no one would stoop that low and make phony charges of being a terrorist. So we let it go. Now, we move up. And that's when Joe finally said enough is enough because the neighbors were accusing Joe, and he stepped up and told us what happened. And I know what happened to you when we sent you, what we did, we sent Get over there, you and I were talking about it, to just look at the trees to see if there's any way we can help. And I was willing to pay, not for this, my company was paying him. We told him that Omstar would pay him, also doesn't have the money to pay for it. Just go over there, like, say, oh no, I want to be part of the community, I will go over there and take a look at it. And that's when we found out that they attacked him by telling them that was federal land and they were federal officers. Why don't you explain?
Yeah, they were with Homeland Security and you can't be on here. And I was like, oh, I'm like, this is a corporation. First Solar to me is a corporation, not Homeland Security, but I don't know. But I'm like, well, I have a federal license, and usually if you have that license, you're usually admissible because you already have that pre-clearance to even step on it with authorization. You have to be authorized to go on. But I did not enter through the gate. I was within the, well, I did go by the trees, which is past the 10-foot limit because I was looking at the trees, right? And I was taking pictures. But I never crossed the fence, or like I know they made some accusations that I think there were accusations I've heard made that I possibly jumped the fence and blah, 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 bunch of BS. But you would have seen me carrying a ladder on my roof on my truck to be jumping fences.
Well, did they say that there were nobody's here?
Oh yeah, there was more than that. I mean, they didn't know who we were. I showed them their conditional use permit. I told them I'm here, you know, hired by the Ocho Town Council. Richard Skaggs asked me to come here and look at the trees and the land here because the weeds were very high. The trees were like almost 75–80% dead. I mean, some of them you didn't even, there was like no trees there. So I was basically taking a report, and they said, well, and I go, well, looking through, first before I went there, I looked at a conditional use permit, what that's to see if I have anything to enforce from LA County side. And I did saw that there's, you know, they had to keep up their grounds, the trees had to be maintained, they were doing that. So I had the power now to actually go, I had that book, that sack of paper was 200 pages long, I think. 200 pages. I had it in my truck. And I had the Ocho Town Council book.
Well, showing who we were.
In case anything this way, because I don't have a badge or nothing to say, well, this is who I am. So I'm like, I brought everything in case, I didn't know all that was going to happen, but in case the police wonder what am I driving around here for. No. But then they all came out and like, who are you? Like, who's Ocho Town Council? We don't know who they are. I'm like, well, Richard Skaggs, do you know him? And they said, who? Who's that? I'm like,
weren't you in the paper with the project bank?
Yeah, we were, that's what I'm getting at. But not only that, can I just, so Stan, we got a call again, he was over there, and he says that he had 4 security guards around them. We got there was still 2 or 3, and it was LaDonna, Dylan, Nancy Dillon, myself, Stan, and his 2 boys. And they were surrounding him, And we got a call that bring the book over because they're trying to arrest him. And they don't know who he is. Well, they knew who he was, so they came here and got the book showing who we are. And we were there, and Stan was there with me, we're showing it in the book, and said, we'd like to talk to somebody in this facility to let them know who we are so we can at least straighten this out, because this is being a bad neighbor, we want to be good neighbors. Can you please call somebody so we can sit down and go over this? The security got on the phone and said they wanted to do with you and get off the property. So we said, okay, we left, right? Yeah, and that was the end of it. So what we tried to do, Joe, is tell them that we wanted to sit down with them so we could work things out. After that, Joe went over there. After that, that's when Joe warned us. And what did they say to you, Joe?
They said that they were going to post the no trespassing signs, and that you were not to be on the property, and that if you go on the property, you'll be arrested because the signs will be posted. I've seen one sign right there. Like
But they did say they were home, it was
But they
federal.
told you.
We were standing in the street.
Yeah.
What he was meaning, Joe, is when I went to the site, they told you when you came here, they said, whoever that white boy was, Gint, we're gonna call FBI on him and have him investigated.
Oh,
You
yeah,
came
yeah.
and pointed at me and said, you're under investigation by FBI Homeland Security. I was sitting right there.
We were standing
Yeah.
in the middle of 170th Street.
Yeah, we weren't even on the property.
We were
Was 170th Street part of their property?
No, the state owns 10 feet.
Well, we were standing on
They own part of
170th
that easement in front.
There's an easement.
Okay, the reason,
Street.
okay, the reason we're bringing that, okay,
That's not their property.
no, but the reason we're bringing the history up, because at the end, after everybody hears this, then we're gonna make a motion, what we should do. But we need to know the background because you weren't involved. Joe was. And the other thing is that I think all of us owe Joe an apology because it wasn't Joe who was starting the rumors. All of us thought it was Joe. It wasn't. But again, we need to.
I thought it was Bob.
I thought it was James.
Yeah, what do you want?
Doing what I gotta do.
No, your wife. I thought it was your wife, Mrs. James. Yeah, that's it.
Mrs. James.
Yeah, Jesse James. Yeah.
Jesse Jackson.
But anyway, I think that it's terrible when you have solar companies that are starting rumors. And we think that NRG is part of it, Joe, because, again, they blamed you for saying that I stole $100,000
No, 50,000.
from NRG building this center here. And so Joe, again, got that from NRG or something. Hold on, let me finish. No, second one.
No, it was only 50,000.
But we want to fit, what they did is accuse me of stealing money. So I got on the phone with NRG, and I have the letters back and forth. And I got on the phone with them, and you were with me when we were coming back from Mexico.
Yeah, but they didn't want to talk to you.
Anyway, so,
Where was that money from?
hold on, let me say what happened, and I'll show the letters to the group. They said, yes, we did, we gave you the money, like I stole the money. And I said, what?
The money that's in
John,
our
it was
account?
John, it was John, yeah.
John Coran?
And I said, John, you're wrong. I have never taken one. I paid for everything on this property. You know, I had Joe as a general contractor who's working here. You worked here. And I did not take any money that belonged to the town council. I have never signed on the account. Well, you took the money. And I'm thinking, this is NRG. NRG is
Well,
telling me.
he's assuming that the money that they gave the foundation you spent,
Yes.
but we get to vote
But
on
they,
that.
no, they started the rumor and Joe was, I thought it was 100,000. You got the call from Joe.
I know it's 50,000.
What did Joe, I thought it was 100, but it's 50.
It was 50,000.
Remember you got the call from Joe? That was NRG. So what we have here, guys, we have the biggest company in the world, Warren Buffett's company, we have NRG, we have First Solar, and they're kind of like a coalition now because First Solar joined in with Mid-America. If you look at the stock, what they're doing. And it looks like they want to get rid of anybody with any smarts out here, and a lot of us out here, a little bit, they're intelligent, and we know how to run businesses, and they know that. And it looks like they're trying to squeeze us completely out and take over. And if we don't do something about it, we're going to be gone.
Richard, you think maybe the District 5 supervisor has anything to do with this?
I think you're right,
Is
Joe.
that
I wish
another-
I'd listened to you. No, if we would have listened to Joe about that, let me tell you. Joe, Jay, if Joe ran for president tomorrow, I'll vote for him. What happened, Joe told us that it was Mike Antonovich, especially when after they told us not to mitigate with sunflower. You have to remember, Joe and I think you were involved, I know Bob was, but we went to Mid-America, and they said they'll sign a contract with us, and better than what we had with NRG, remember? And so Joe was working on the contract, and we had it double.
They came to our meetings and
Right,
promised us.
right.
Yeah.
But it was double. And so I said, well, we better get a contract, so did Joe. So we had a meeting, I found the notice, where we went and met with Norm, I have it. Norm said, no, you guys can't sign a contract, you can't mitigate with them until after they get their permits, then you can mitigate with them.
After they break
Why
ground.
don't you explain it?
Why did we listen to him for?
No, ask Joe, that's what Joe said.
He said, that's what I asked him. I said, why not mitigate with them before they get their CUP? Because that way we have a contract that's binding. If we wait till after they break ground, we have
Too
no
late.
contract. It's
Yep,
too
you're
late.
right.
Yeah.
And then when we went to the meeting at the Azteca restaurant with Mid-America, they sat, you
I
were
was
there.
yeah.
The lady sat right there and said, look, gentlemen, this is how it's gonna be. We're not gonna stand on the corner and hand out $100 bills to everybody. That's not our policy. You come up with a good idea that we can help sponsor or help pay for. We'll go through it. If it's a good idea, we'll do it. But don't ask for any other money because it's not gonna happen. And that's
No,
what
and
she
she
told us.
also said that mitigation's over.
Yeah, she
Oh,
said
yeah.
mitigation's over because we've already
Got
had
the permits.
construction. We
Yeah.
already got our permit.
So basically-
So Antonovich screwed us.
Well, Hinckley.
Hinckley screwed
So
us.
basically they
Why did
come,
we listen to him? He has nothing to do with it.
Well, you sort of listen to him
somebody did
because
step in and say something.
They should have.
we thought he could, he could be our backer. What he did was he sold us down the river.
But what I thought is
You
that
got
he was
paid
going
off
to
on
come
it.
in and work with us. I thought for sure, I was against, Joe was for this, and everybody else is for it. And I said, well, I think that we can trust Mike Antonovich's office,
Right.
and it might be a good thing to do it that way. And Joe says, well, you don't know him very well. And he says, we need to go ahead and sign the contract because they're gonna screw us on the county level. And I
Well,
said,
they
"No."
didn't screw us, they screwed the whole community.
Right.
And you know, it's not going in anybody's pocket, it's being taken out of the community's good.
You know what they're doing? They're slipping money to Fairmount Town Council.
We know that.
We know that. They give
How
them,
do
To rubber
know
stamp
that?
everything?
Hold on, let Joe explain.
I'll tell you what
Please
happened.
explain.
Let's what happened.
Okay, they had a program here. Okay, they had a neutering and spading thing here at the store. And the next project they had was, in case of a real emergency, they needed hand crank short wave radios for everybody. They went out and got the price on it. They bought 12 radios for $10,000.
What? 12 radios, what?
Somebody made a lot of money selling radios.
Was it crank time?
Battery and crank.
$100, like $49.99.
$10,000.
But I know, but the radio actual cost of the Radio Shack probably
The thing is, they kept it from
$49.99.
the public, just like the trees. Go
But-
ahead, Joe.
What they did was, they give them the money, they bought the radios, and I have not yet seen one, because they're supposed to be given away to all the people in the community that could help each other. So I don't know what happened to the radios. In fact, I asked Barbara the other day, whatever happened to those radios you guys bought? We still have them.
Oh, I have a question. How were they able, hold on, this doesn't make sense. They don't have a 501c. How were they able, I remember NRG was in that meeting on Thursday, February 19th at 7 p.m. when they stated, unless you have a 501c foundation, we're not gonna donate you money. How were they able to get $10,000?
This is the
without-
thing. You just missed what I said. You wasn't
missed
listening. I said, NRG told us, or Mid-America told us, you come up with a project that we can sponsor or we can help you with, and if we feel it's a good thing, we'll buy it for you. So they bought the radios and donated them to
Nobody.
nobody.
To nobody.
Well, to their,
Well, I mean, something better than that, we had about 60 chairs, fold-up chairs. You remember what chairs we had?
yeah, I remember, yeah.
And NRG said, we're donating these to the town councils, for us to have meetings. So John, Barbara came over, and told John that
Just
NRG,
please use last names too, this way we know who we're.
Oh, no,
Gaglione.
yeah, said that Barbara Rogers was coming over to pick up all the chairs, and she did. She picked up every chair and left 2 chairs, 2 of the fold-ups, and took them all. And I said, you know, that is really showing a real character. Yeah. So we went out and bought new chairs.
I want my $5 chair back.
Yeah, I mean, can you believe something that petty to make it where it's not hurting us, it's hurting the community that wanted a place to meet and sit down in these chairs. I could not believe it. But the lie about the trees, the lie about all these contracts, and then use people in our community like Joe, who's well respected, to get him thinking that she's saying that Richard's in jail. It
I
must
know
be
that.
true. Richard stole $50,000. It must be true. I mean, this is how this has been going, Walter. And I've been just holding back without saying one word because I said I wasn't going to do anything, hoping that we could mend fences. But when they came to my house, where my wife is at, and to scare my family, and to come over here and start attacking us, and doing these bad things about Conroy being a dope dealer, about me stealing money, enough is enough. And we need to do something.
About, hey, Richard, why don't we take and just have a special meeting for that particular incident? Have Olaf come here. We'll, sure we can come up with the money to pay him. Have him come here and only discuss that particular thing and ask him what you think we should do about it. How should we attack this?
Olaf's not gonna give you a straight answer.
Well,
We've asked him.
Well, this is, I think these are a little bit heavier facts now.
you're
I
right.
don't think this was brought up through Olaf beforehand.
No.
Wait a minute. You know who we can ask? The Deputy Attorney General, Ron Gold.
It sounds like a job for the state police.
It's-
You got police,
Attorney
you
General.
got police
State
departments,
police.
you got police departments involved.
I know how to do it, guys. Can I make a, can I
Yeah,
just
go
say one? I don't want to interrupt you.
But
I think if we get Olaf, it's a good idea, but we bring in Ron Gold, who's gonna be appointed Attorney General. It looks like Brown, he just came back from the Republican convention up in Sacramento, he called me today. And so anyway, I think if we have Ron Gold and Olaf at a special, we call a special meeting,
Just for that particular
just for that,
incident.
what happened.
Discuss nothing.
Nothing else, because now it's way above my head, and my wife wants me to resign because of the danger. I mean, we're dealing with Warren Buffett. If you go on the, everybody should go on the internet and look under Trick Squad, Warren Buffett. He's #1, playing tricks and doing these things. When they tried to get me arrested, and it hurts the town council, especially when she says your leader's been arrested. Well, it shows, yeah.
probably were my.
Like, I don't even know.
How about our Dave Jeffries as a lawyer?
Dave Jeffries?
Yeah, he could be a witness and a
Oh,
lawyer.
yeah, at the same time.
But I don't know.
Well, you know, Dave Jeffries right now is an attorney for the city of Lancaster.
He is?
Yeah. And well, he went to work for him immediately after he lost his house.
Oh.
So I have it very doubtful that he'll want to get involved.
Involved.
No,
yeah.
private practice at all, huh?
Well, no, because he's a witness anyway. I
Yeah,
think,
you wouldn't want, you can't be a lawyer and a witness at the same
Well,
time.
I-
You have to
So
be
I,
part of-
what if, somebody make a motion that
I
we
make
get
a
Olaf
motion,
over
okay,
here and
Olaf.
see if you can get our money.
Okay, hold on. The motion, let's discuss this. What I'm looking at, if we have,
We're talking about how to stop all this
yes,
and bring people that are guilty to punishment.
right,
Well, it seems like Paula Rush slandered you
and the community,
and the community.
and our town council.
We can file a lawsuit against her for slander.
Against her in America.
Her and Mid-America right away.
On behalf of the community.
Yeah.
Now, that's something that we need to discuss with attorneys. None of us are attorneys.
See,
And I-
because if she has anything to do with Flower Barrel,
Oh,
It'll come out.
it'll come out.
yeah, you can call them in for depositions.
Because I don't know, you know, I don't work a computer, but I think if you get, look at that piece of paper I gave you from August of
She's there, she's been
2013,
helping us.
look on the bottom, and I told you about that, right? And you said it was a Chinese song, there's Chinese people on it.
There's Korean language, Chinese language on there. I'm like, it has come through on my.
Well, if Pat don't want you to get on his website, he can
Can you
block
check
you
the camera,
anyway.
see
I have one.
If it's out, what's it?
Well, you can get on it, you can look at it. High Desert?
High Desert,
That's High Desert.
Maybe
No,
that doesn't.
just,
abhighdesert.com.
Now, this NRG,
It's ab.forum.com.
Yes,
That's
it is.
one that works.
Richard,
Yeah,
this NRG guy said that you took all this money, that's also slander.
yeah.
And it is also
Okay,
slander.
It is.
It is also,
Excuse us, we're just meeting. Hey, we're, okay, come on. Sorry about the dog.
Say,
Get that guy's wallet, see if he's got any money.
First of all, FBI.
yeah, so I was just gonna say that.
Okay, and then
Who
Mid-America.
filed a police report from First Solar? That's also slander.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
for the town, because you gotta remember, we asked him to do a favor for us. Just like we found out, the thing out here, Maria, the rest of them over there, the market turned us in for that thing for our party. Maria, at that, I should bring you up to date, at that party where she was causing all the problems, Maria was jumping up and down, I knew there was a setup.
Is there any way you can connect these three solar companies and do?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. There's a criminal
Each
conspiracy.
individually.
But no, Joe,
I don't think we can
no,
combine
let
them.
me tell you what happened. We just find out, I don't want to get into it here. We found out, they call it the PAC. There's a PAC. The PAC is the solar companies. Go on the website, First Solar and Exelon joined in with Warren Buffett. They're on their stock, you go in there, and they call it a PAC. Meaning the Warren Buffett is trying, it appears, trying to buy up the the solar companies, so they're becoming a PAC.
Conglomerate.
And I guess we could call them for the sake of saying anything.
Well, do
The
we
Rat
hear-
Pack, the
Okay,
Rat
do we
Pack.
hear a motion, to Richard's suggestion that we get OAP and R20 and have a private meeting
Not
just
yet.
for this?
Ron Gold,
Ron Gold.
is an attorney.
Yeah, Ron Gold and OAP here. I'm sure that we can vote, after we make the
If
motion
he-
and second it, we can.
Is that a
also-
motion you're making?
No, I can't make the motion, because I'm the speaker.
Okay,
Somebody
good.
else can make the motion.
Can I say something? Is Olaf up to it?
We
I
don't-
think so. We don't know. We'll
We
have
have
to
to
hear.
ask him.
But at least we're
You want
giving
me
a
to call him?
courtesy. No,
Okay.
we'll give him a
I'll call
courtesy.
Hello?
Do
Are you up to it?
conspiracy?
No, I think Joe's motion, you're speaking about your motion, Joe. But
Right.
I think that he's right, but I feel that we should get legal guidance because
Right.
this
Legal
is a,
counsel.
right, because it's such a big, these companies are huge and they're taking over our valley. So I think the motion is what Joe is saying. Go ahead, Joe.
I think we need to make a motion to fund whatever cost we have with OLOP, and we can get Ron Goldman here, and discuss this particular thing and see what their suggestion would be. Either we go for it or we shelve it, one or the other.
The other thing that I'd like to add to your motion, that we have a private investigator who can go in and get all the stuff we need
Okay, when we get to that point, then we can hire a private
to
investigator.
get it for the,
After the attorneys.
right, whatever we
After
have.
we have a little power. So do I hear a motion?
Normally, the attorneys have, they take depositions.
Yeah,
Right.
They
Okay,
do.
do we have a motion to this?
Anybody,
I motion it.
you have a second? Second?
I second.
Okay, so we have a first by,
Let's see.
Joe's motion was, no, your motion, Stan, was carried.
Yeah, this needs to be,
And it was
addressed.
1, 2, 3,
Three
4 to
ayes.
1.
You don't want to,
You want to abstain or you want to vote no?
You see what-
I think we have other fish to fry that might be more high priorities for me. I would like to table this till.
But that has
later.
nothing, no, hold on, that has nothing to do with our other stuff we're gonna get into. We have several things on the agenda. One is we have the cameras, the computer, all the Wi-Fi, we have all that.
Right, but it is passed without me. Let's just move on.
But
Okay,
see,
so
this is what we
abstain.
need to do. We need to get legal counsel. While we're here quietly and secretly, Nobody needs to know we had this
secret.
meeting,
Here is a meeting.
okay? Nobody knows we have this meeting.
Yes, I told everybody, Joe.
Okay, yeah, but, yeah.
My mom even knows.
But my wife didn't
Right.
come to the meeting, so don't worry about it. But anyway, we have this little powwow, so we want to get legal information, legal suggestions,
Yeah, Bob,
what we
oh, yeah,
can
Bob
do
voted yes, right?
to stop this crap.
To stop this slander thing.
Right,
Two.
that's what it's all about. We have 3
Do
different
we actually
solar
have any
points.
proof that these people did these things?
Joe, they called Joe. Did you hear what Joe just said?
happening?
But
Did
a
you
phone
hear?
call is not evidence.
Paulette Rush calling Joe, that's evidence.
We're trying to Olaf to see if we do have a case.
Yeah.
Every time somebody at the Weeville says something about our council and I go and ask them about, they say they didn't say that.
Anyway, Joe,
I
I trust
think
Joe.
we'd be wasting
Hold
Okay,
on,
our-
no, no. David, okay, we have 2, 4, 5 to 1, okay? That's it.
So anyway,
Let's
that's
move on.
the thing. Okay, now,
I did want to say one thing before we go on. So what I see, this conspiracy here, is basically these companies joining together. This is what I see, okay? I see that all these solar companies put in Fairmont Town Council. They decided to create Fairmont Town Council for one purpose, okay? To rubber stamp, and their promise for that rubber stamp, if they rubber stamp, we're gonna give you the tree contracts. And whoever comes in your way to try to take the tree contracts away, we're gonna shoot them away and get them far away.
Don't-
Because we don't want you to deal with nobody else.
okay, you know that to be a tree farmer in unincorporated area of Los Angeles County, you have to have about 7 different permits. The first one costs $5,500 for the county. So, when I was going to grow peach trees, I checked it out, and it was a hell of a lot cheaper for me to call a nursery up in Northern California and let them grow my trees, and I buy them from them and sell them to my customers as an installer, than it was to burn them. So I think what's happened here is the Fairmont Town Council was established only to grow trees, and Pat admit that. That's why Barbara bought property, that's why Dave Kerr bought property, that's why they started doing it. They hired Carl to take the little seeds out of the plant cone.
That's right.
Remember?
But you have to
So all
realize,
this is about trees?
Yes.
this is a conspiracy,
About
that's
the
why they're
trees.
existing.
That they're
That's why
selling
they're
for 30
existing.
bucks a piece, none of this makes sense.
$35. See, that's all conspiracy about the tree. They think that we're going to try
And money,
to...
making
But you have to
money,
realize,
making money by.
They are
going down-
against, they're
going
not
down
in the
solar
benefit
companies
for
and
nobody
getting
We
out.
don't care if
else.
they make money on
No,
trees.
no.
Do you
But
know,
they're
okay,
taking
look at
money
this,
too.
but look at this, you guys don't get the picture, what's going on. Look at a Fairmont Town Council. Are they helping anybody else in their community out?
Owning themselves.
They
Not that I can see.
they don't have a, yeah...
Are we,
501 or-
what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to help our community out?
Desperately.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Do you
They're
see
trying to
the
make their 10
two?
acres into a
That's
park.
what I see, and that's
Their
what
10
I,
acres that they got in mitigation with energy,
but they
they want to
don't,
make a park out of it.
but
They
they,
never got it.
but they can't get it
They
because
can't get
they
it.
didn't get it
No,
because they
they
don't
get
have
it.
501(c)(3).
They haven't got it, no.
No, their property's right next to ours.
Anyway, I think we should have the attorneys, I think we passed the motion.
Okay, you wanna be the honcho in that? You wanna be the chairman? You wanna make the call? to
I'll
Olaf?
make the call,
you
Stan, he's been working with me on that, so Stan and I will follow up on it,
Okay,
okay?
okay,
All
we're
right.
on to the next project.
All right, let's take a break just for 1 minute.
1 minute.
Yeah, just, I wanna see this.
Oh, Jesus
Cigarette.
Christ.
He needs a cigarette.